I hate both of you.
So, do you want to get into it? Do you want to talk about it?
Yeah, so first let's tell the kids,
Mm-hmm.
hi, welcome to this informal episode of One Foot on the Ground. This is Ashley,
This is Johnny.
and today we're going to kind of talk about, I was thinking we should talk about I Care a Lot, obviously, because that's why we started this, but we can also talk about other things too, which we normally do anyway. But maybe just talk
Yeah.
about other things that we've watched since the kids haven't heard from us in a little bit. And we are resuming episodes, so don't worry, kids. We're still here. We're just
I
we're
don't, I
just
don't know
not
why you're
as
calling them kids and not footsies.
footsies. I'm sorry, footsie kids. Footsie kids, kid foots.
Nope,
Um,
hate that. I mean,
I
I also
always
hate
I don't know
footsies.
why
It
I
just felt
do.
weird.
I don't know why I don't call them footsies, and I whatever. I call people kids all the time. I don't know. Probably because they're all younger than me. Do
Yeah,
we have adult
John's
listeners?
148 years old.
148 and all these youngsters trying to come at me with their movies. Um, so,
And their center parts.
so we're talking about I Care a Lot. Let's go ahead and get into it. So we wanted to talk about it specifically. I kind of wanted to bring it up just because I mean it had been on my list for a while to watch. Well, since I don't know, when did it come out? I don't even know. Days are a blur.
Didn't it come out like the other day?
It was recent. I know it was recent, but I added it to my list immediately because of Diane Wiest. As soon as I saw her pop up in the little trailer thing, because that's one of the things about Netflix that I actually don't like. I hate being forced to watch things. Do not force me to watch something, Netflix. So when you click on anything in there, well, just in general, like you enter the program and you're automatically bombarded with noise. And I'm sorry, but I want to silence when I'm looking for things. So I will mute things a lot of the time
You
just
can
because
turn
I
that
can't
setting
stand it.
off.
What are you talking
You
about?
they updated their settings a little bit back where you can turn off like the autoplay stuff. You could just take it off. Yeah.
Oh, I did not
I
know
do that.
that.
Yeah. Yeah, I want to be
Oh,
contemplative. I want to like sit and look and then like
I
click
don't
through
want
in my own
to, like, I
time.
have to scroll things through things so quickly on Netflix because I don't want to hear anything. Like,
Yeah.
stop giving me noise. Uh, it makes me insane.
Do you think you
So,
pick things faster that way though?
no, I don't. In fact, most of the time, I'm not joking. I will just turn off Netflix and put on HBO Max and watch something else like Adventure Time because I'm like, I don't feel like dealing with this right now. It's too stressful. And I just don't want it. If I wanted to watch a trailer, I will pull out my phone and Google it or something, like, or put it on YouTube's. I don't want to be bombarded with things that I don't care about, especially if they're stupid. And a lot of that shit is stupid. Like, I don't want to watch some reality show about people dating or something. I don't care. I don't care
Wait,
if
whoa,
you're
whoa,
in a
whoa, whoa.
ring
You
or
don't
something.
want to watch Love is Blind?
No, I have no interest in that.
You don't want to watch The Circle? Not to be
No,
confused with like the horror
no,
movie Circle.
no,
Wait, what
no.
are the
I
other
really don't.
ones?
And I don't understand why there's one for every country. Like, okay,
For
we get it.
Circle because popularity is going to be different based on your region.
Let me tell you
Duh.
something. I can't even get into that. But anyway, so this trailer popped up for I Care a Lot when it premiered or whatever. And I actually didn't hit the mute button quick enough. But as soon as I saw Diane Weiss, in fact, actually, maybe I did have it muted. And then I saw Diane Weiss and I was like, oh, wait, you didn't tell me she was in it. Like, you should just automatically start every conversation with Diane Weiss is in this film. Be like, oh, well, I'm automatically engaged. What is this about now? But I saw her in the trailer and then I actually watched the trailer like because it forced me to, but but I wanted to see it. And just based on the trailer, I was like, oh, I'm going to be interested in this because Diane Weiss is like a boss ass bitch. Like, like tell you that in
Yeah.
the trailer, like, don't mess with this woman. And I'm like, yes, please. Yes, please. And thank you, because I fucking love her. And recently, you haven't seen it yet, I don't think, but I watched a film with her. It's on HBO Max.
Who are you
Oh
talking
my
about?
God, what is it called? Let Them All Talk, I think it's called,
The
with
one with
Meryl
Meryl
Streep.
Streep?
Hmm. And Diane Weiss is one of her friends from the past or whatever. I fucking loved that movie. It was so good. But you haven't seen it yet.
No, man.
So I'm not going to talk about that one, even though I would love to talk about that one. But we're not going to, because I don't want to, you know, tell you anything that happens in the movie, because you have to enjoy it for yourself. But
Perfect.
and for all the kids out there, the footsies,
Hmm.
go watch that movie. Anyway, so I love her. I've loved her since early on, because there's a film that she was in called Little Man Tate, which was directed by Jodie Foster, and Jodie Foster's also in it. And I freaking love that film. I freaking love that film. I wanted to be a child prodigy when I was a kid so bad. So any film about a child prodigy was my jam, yo. I was like, see, Mom, I could be that kid, but I wasn't. And now I'm 40 something and I cannot be a child prodigy any longer. And it really
I mean,
bothers me.
that ship sailed once you hit like what, 15? No
Once I
longer a
hit,
child
I don't, even
prodigy.
earlier than that. I mean, I feel like
Yeah.
it's out the window at 13. Like you're too old.
Yeah, you better figure it out by 12 or you're old news.
I know. No, and no joke. Like I was legitimately disappointed as a kid because I was not a child prodigy. I mean, I could have been because I was certainly gifted enough for it artistically, but I don't know. It just never happened. I guess if you're not a brainiac or whatever, you can't do long division, then you can't do it. Whatever. Anyway,
And
she's in that
yeah.
film and I fucking love her. And anyway, so I love Diane Weiss. So I wanted to watch this. And it's one of those things these days, and I don't know if this happens to you, but I think we briefly mentioned it before, but I have trouble sitting down to watch anything now.
Yes.
Like I have to be forced to watch something, or I have to like really, really, really want to see it. And yes, I did really want to see this, but it was also like, I don't feel like it right now. I just, I know as soon as I start it, I'll be fine, but it's getting to that point. It's just like me going for my walks. It's like, I know I'll be fine if I do start them, but I haven't been able to start them. So I just keep gaining weight and eating bread. So whatever. But anyway, so I
Right
finally
on.
sat down. Actually, Jason basically forced me to watch it last night. And because he was like, didn't you want to watch that movie about some lady? And I was like, oh, yeah, we can watch that, I guess. So we put it on, and I was immediately like, I'm so glad we picked this because I'm into it. So, what is this movie about, Ashley?
Well,
They say it
you
in
don't
the
want to know
trailer.
why I watched it? Come on.
Well, yeah, why did you watch it? Besides
I
my
mean,
glowing recommendations for Diane Weiss and everything.
I watched it a couple days ago. I started it. I did that thing. I started it and I watched the beginning and I was like, I should probably just go to sleep instead because I'm crinkly and old. And I'm not that old, just my soul. And yeah, so I had turned it off, but then I kept seeing just like stuff about it on like Twitter or Letterboxd or something, just like images, especially the cover image, the pink and teal
Oh,
one
yeah, I
with
like that one.
how do you say her name? Rosamund?
I have no clue. I had to look her up because I
Rosamund
was like,
Pike.
I don't know who you are, but Your hair is intense. Um,
I love it. She's probably known most for Gone Girl.
yeah,
She
I didn't
was
watch that.
well,
No
she was also in
interest.
Pride and Prejudice. She was Jane in Pride and Prejudice.
No
The one with
interest. No
Keira
interest. No, I'm
Knightley.
just kidding.
All right.
She was in that? Oh, that was her, wasn't it?
Mhm.
Now that you mention that, I totally see that. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, good for
Uh
her. Good for her.
yeah, she's also in Doom. With
In what?
Doom with Dwayne Johnson,
Oh
and
dear.
it's kind of like it's almost
Oh, it's
like
like that game
Alien.
or something. Isn't that a
Yeah.
game?
Uh, yes, yes. But yeah. So I watched the first bit, and it didn't seem like anything that like grabbed me because I don't know. We didn't even get to like we just got to Peter Dinklage, and I was like, I see it
Wait a minute. You
coming,
got
like
to
whatever.
Peter Dinklage and you weren't into it? Because when he showed up, I
I
was
was too
already into it.
tired. I was too
Oh,
tired, I think.
okay. Well,
No. Maybe. I don't remember. I don't remember. It was early in and I was like, I should go to bed. But then I kept seeing
do you
stuff. I
know?
wasn't reading stuff and I wanted to read the stuff, so I watched it so that I could read the stuff because I didn't want to spoil the movie for myself. So yeah.
Mm. So,
So what's it about? Is that what you're gonna ask?
well, I mean, the trailer gives the entire movie away, basically. So
Oh,
if
see,
you've
I
seen the
didn't watch
trailer for
that.
this, which Netflix forces on you all day, then you already know what it's about. It's about a woman who is scheming elderly people into um, conning them, like they do with
She's
people.
forcing people into what is it
Legal
called?
guardianship. Like she's their legal
Yeah, and
guardian,
then she drains their bank accounts
takes
essentially.
all their monies, and she's
And
looking for prime targets, like people with no children and no relatives, so that she can really get that money, girl, without any kind of
well,
shit.
I don't think that she's actively seeking those people. Like she is seeking like better, um, like easier targets, like wealthier people. But they come across a cherry, is what they called Diane Weiss. That was just like perfect. Didn't have kids, had a lot of money, and has some memory loss sometimes. But the the scheme that Pike is in, is along with her partner.
Lord,
Um,
can we just? There's so many things I want to say already. So, first of all, how many people were involved with these schemes? That blew my mind automatically. And the thing is I feel like this is a thing that actually does happen. So it's like,
right. Well, everyone gets a cut. You know what I mean?
I mean, I
Everyone's
know that,
getting
but
a
I'm
cut
saying
in
that's a
some
lot
way.
of people. Just and
Yeah.
her casual conversations about the fact that she's doing this with these people. It's like, aren't you afraid somebody's going to overhear you or something? I mean, we're just having phone calls and good old time.
Well, she's also seems to be well knowledged and is super confident that that the law will always work in her favor.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even so they find a prime subject, and they take advantage of her. They strip her of her rights, take guardianship over her, and it turns out that she's not actually alone. She does have a son, somebody who's looking out for her, and that person's not on record. Neither of them are on like actual record because they're not. They're also not good people. And, and so
Oh,
this
I love
movie
it.
is just full of villains. There's not like something I really enjoy because there are parts of this movie that like I think were very refreshing and some things that like I crave in cinema. Like and we'll get into it, but just like, the queer relationship, how like it could have been any of these characters could have been interchangeable with another person. Like Peter Dinklage could have been replaced with somebody who was like stupid tall because they never bring up his height or anything like they would in like other films. It was never like a joke. There was never like any like snide comments between him and Pike about like her being a lesbian or how it was like so difficult growing up or coming out or anything like that. You know what I mean? Like it just had like all like the relationship between the two women could have been a man and a woman or two men. It just could have just it really could
Yeah.
have been anybody. That was nice. Loved that. And I loved that we did not have redeemable characters. Like, even though we're watching somebody um, thwart death several times over, not once is she like, I'm going to give up the game. Like,
Oh
she's
yeah,
just like, you
no.
know what? Let's just go harder.
No, yeah. I mean, all the things you're mentioning, I did like. I will say, I did not enjoy right off the bat that it was a villain. I mean, she's a villain, but
Yeah.
she was also a lesbian. So I was kind of like, well, why do you have to do that? Like, why does she have to be a lesbian? We're already having issues here, people. Let's not
Yeah.
be. But at the same time, everybody was kind of a villain. So it didn't really, in the end
Yeah.
anyway, like everybody was kind of a villain. So it was like, well, I guess if everybody's a villain, it doesn't really matter. Um, and by the way, spoilers, people. There's going to be spoilers here because
Yeah.
we're going to give away the ending, which was kind of one of my favorite things too. Like as
Oh,
soon as I got
really?
to the ending, I was like, oh, no, I like this. I was like, good.
Oh, that's my problem with the movie. Oh, we'll get into it. Yeah. So,
Ooh, I
yeah.
didn't realize you'd
So,
have a
like,
problem with that.
yeah, well, at the beginning, um, I didn't love, what are their names in the film? Because they got like old people names, Marla and Fran. I love their names. I didn't love them. And I thought, because like, we're not really supposed to love Marla, you know, like, she's
Is that,
taking advantage of old people.
oh,
It's
yeah.
Rosamund Pike.
Okay.
And you know, she's taking advantage of older people, and like as we're going in and being introduced to like all these other characters, it's just like a dirty, sleazy world, and you feel terrible for Weast, you know.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's kind of like, ugh, because you there's also a part of you that knows that this is real, especially since like, you know, Free Britney just had that documentary and it's starting to get like
Oh,
livened up
yeah.
a bit, you know, and it's just like, ugh. But then our villain meets another villain, and so as
Well,
you carry on through the film, you don't know, like, you find
even,
yourself rooting for both parties and then confusing yourself because like you really don't want anybody to win. You know, like it's like
no,
they're
I
all
didn't.
terrible
I did.
humans.
I didn't want anybody to win. I wanted Diane Weiss to win.
Yeah,
Her
but she's
house
also
back.
a bad person.
Well, and that's kind of one of the things that I was going to say. I mean, I think technicality because of her relationship with her son, I guess, yeah, she's bad.
No, I'm pretty sure they loosely mentioned that she started the business and he took over it.
Oh, well, okay.
Or that's the impression I got.
I mean,
That
either way, whatever. She was having a lovely time with her life. You know, that's the other thing I was thinking about. Because, like, with these people that just get money from these different ways of getting money, not like legit, you have to work this horrible job for the rest of your damn life kind of thing. Which, please, can we were talking about this before we recorded. We want money. Like, give us money. How do you get money? And this movie kind of highlights that. It's like, I feel like in the long run, you kind of have to be bad in some way to be so greedy that you get this money and you are just there at that point. Because I kept thinking, like, Diane Weist's life, like her character's life in this movie, it was kind of simple. I don't know how to explain it. It kind of bothered me. It was like, you have the freedom of not doing anything. Like, you have that freedom. You don't have to worry about money to pay your bills or whatever. You have all that's taken care of. So you don't have stress about money. What are you doing? Like, you're sitting there. What are you doing? You're collecting weird glass things and putting them in
She's enjoying her
cabinets.
retirement.
Well, but that's the thing I was saying. Like, I feel like if it was me, I mean, yeah, I would probably want a house and I'd have some things, but it's like, what is the point if you're not going to enjoy your quality of life? Like, go out and travel and see things and do things. If you're waiting at that house for your son to pick you up on a certain day, I mean, that's not living your life. It's kind of like you're trapped.
She, all right, so if we can entertain the idea that she ran the business before her son took over it. They don't explicitly say it. They do suggest that she started whatever success they had. Uh, so let's assume, because we also don't know what Dinklage does. You know, we
No,
just know that
they
he's a
never
scary
say.
man. He's well connected.
There's
We don't.
diamonds. What are
Yeah,
those?
we
I don't
don't.
know.
We don't know. We don't know how Pike started what she started. We don't know how her and Fran or Isa Gonzalez like met. We don't know anybody's background whatsoever, and I don't think we need to. I think the movie's more about
No,
the
you don't
abuse
need to know
system
that. None of
of
that makes a difference.
how easy it is for people to take advantage, like elderly abuse. You
Well,
know,
and
like I think it's about that, but I think the director said that he wanted to do a movie about that, but it would have been too bleak. But I still think it highlights all those things. You know what
yeah,
I
it's
mean? Like
still
it.
like it made me want to text people like, please don't let this happen to me. Like, don't let them take my records and liquidate them and for money and put me in a home. Please don't.
Well,
But of
you
course, I
gotta
can't
gotta make
guarantee
sure.
that that won't happen. I have no idea, and I don't have children, so
You have
who
siblings.
knows?
You have a next of kin. She didn't have a next of kin
Well,
like
yeah,
on
but even the
paper.
kids with or the parents with or kids, because that's obviously an important part of this movie, is that some of the kids are still there and they still have this happen to them. So that's kind of scary
Speaking
too.
of that part in the beginning, so in the beginning of the film, when we meet Marla, she's what is it, like in a small claims court, right? Where the son of someone that is in Marla's care is arguing that he never gets to see his mother, or and like he doesn't have access to her funds or anything like that, and he's like upset by it. And Marla's like, it's literally my job to care, and yes, I do get money because it's my job. You had your chance, and like whatever. And then he like, and then it goes, and they have their arguments and whatever. And then like after like it was ruled in Marla's favor, he had like said something to her and she shut him down, and she was like, is your problem that I'm a woman? And she said something about like ripping his dick off or whatever, if
Hmm.
he ever talked to her that way again. I didn't much care for that part because I thought like that was setting us up for a whole movie of I don't know, like a total like spoon-fed like feminism. But then that wasn't the case. It just turned out the only person who gave a shit about somebody being a woman or anything like that, the stuff that like I loved that we didn't touch on, was just like a regular human who was just like kind of like a dick, but he, cared about his mom, I guess. But yeah, that was like one part where I was like, ugh, I don't know if I'm ready to watch this. That it wasn't that. Yeah, I thought that was setting the tone for the movie, but then it wasn't. It wasn't that,
No,
and
it really
so I
wasn't.
was very happy with that. But then I was like, why was that there?
I think it
Like the
mattered.
woman part.
I think it mattered in the end, sort of. I mean, it was also a good statement, sort of, to make, because it's kind of
Yeah,
true with a lot of people, especially men like him. You can see where that's true.
I
He
can see
probably
where
was
that's
bothered.
true. There's well, and men will come at women with a tone and a stance that they definitely wouldn't with other men, regardless of how they felt about them. There's always this like towering, I don't know, attempt that comes from a certain, I don't know, internalized sexism. It could be externalized too, but I mean, we've all felt it for sure. But not that that doesn't exist. It does exist, and I did agree, with that. I was just like, oh, well, that was in the movie, and it didn't come up again. Well, a little bit. It came up like a little bit, but it wasn't.
Well,
It didn't affect. If we took that line out of the movie, it wouldn't have affected the film.
no,
You know
it
what I
wouldn't
mean?
have. No, that's true. It wouldn't matter if that was there or not. I think it's interesting that the way that it all played out was like there was a dominant, like, women are more important in this situation, in this particular story, than the men, for sure. I mean, because even having Diane Wiest as like the reason this is all happening to these people because you fucked with the wrong lady, like, yeah, yeah, you did. uh, I loved that. And I kind of loved that Peter was so adamant because it was his mother, and he genuinely loved his mother. Like, it wasn't like he loved her because she was powerful and could do something for him. He genuinely just wanted her to be okay and to be able to see her. That was it.
Yeah. Yeah, I really liked how all the characters felt like full characters, even though we didn't know anything about them.
Mm-hmm.
Like even like the smallest bit of when when Dinklage had Pike tied up, and like he went to like scare her, and he showed her a video of her mother, and he was like, I'm gonna kill everyone you love, starting with her. And she was just like, okay, she's a bitch. Like,
Yeah.
and then that was it. We don't know what happened between them. We don't know anything. She's just like,
Well,
kill my mom. Who cares?
I also kind of loved that happened because in Peter's eyes, that would be the most, because look what he's doing for his mother. So
Right. And
of
she's like,
course he's
can't
going to
relate.
make that correlation, like I'm gonna fuck with your mama and you gonna be mad. No, you fuck with my lady friend, I'm gonna be mad. And that was the thing. I thought that was who he was going to present. I had no idea
Same.
that like, I thought that was what was going to happen, but it didn't. I think that would have been more effective.
Yeah, but
Clearly,
I think the mom was like perfect for Peter's character,
yeah, it
you
made
know?
sense that he would threaten the mother for sure. But the fact that it didn't work, the whole thing was great. I mean, even their exchange in that situation, the fact that she just was, I don't know how to explain it. She was just
And
like,
she's like, you can pay me off. Just BT dubs. Like, I
well,
just
yeah,
have a
that
number in
too.
mind. Just pay me off.
And
It's
that's the
like, we're
thing.
beyond that.
That price, like, she said what she wanted at the beginning. And honestly, if you think about it in one way, I mean, obviously it's just greed because she was offered money to stop very early on,
Hmm.
but she chose not to because it wasn't enough. And she did set a price, which he could have gone back to Peter and said that. Like, I don't know
Right.
why he didn't, but but it's like,
I don't know that they then knew that she had the diamonds. Did they? Like, so
oh
she knew about the
no,
diamonds, and so I think she knew that they were worth more. Like,
which
whoever's trying to convince her. She's like, hi.
recently Ashley and I listened to a podcast episode about diamonds. And so
We
ever
did.
since then, I keep thinking these motherfucking things are worthless. Who gives a shit? So, so I kind of have it in the back of my head, like, why are you guys so concerned about this stupid pocket full of diamonds? Like, they're not worth anything. It's just garbage. They're just rocks. Like, they can grow them in a lab. Who cares? And
I was thinking that too. And then when Dinklage was like, "Who cares about the
I was like,
diamonds?"
finally. Finally, he listened to that episode. It's
It
like, who
was
cares?
99% Invisible's pop-up show called Articles of Interest. They had an episode of Diamonds, if
Yeah, it was
anybody's
very
wondering
good
what we listened
and
to.
made it. And honestly, I feel like more people need to listen to that episode because it is such a fascinating situation. Like this whole obsession that people have with diamonds and like the engagement ring has to be a diamond and blah 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 blah. Who gives a shit? And then as soon as you purchase that thing, it drops in value tremendously. You're never going to get that money back for that. It's not an
Yeah.
investment, which they clearly state in this thing. Like it's a known fact that a diamond loses its value after it's purchased. So it's like, what is the point of
Like
that?
a new car.
It's stupid. It is the dumbest thing to purchase ever. And I'm so glad we listened to that. I mean, not that I ever wanted a diamond. I really could care less, but I certainly do. I mean, I want to sing about them like diamonds are forever. Diamonds are a girl's best friend. But but they could be fake because I really don't give a shit.
Yeah, you also can't tell if they're fake until you get it like under like a microscope. You can't tell by like
And that's the thing,
your
like who
naked eye.
cares?
Well, it's the value we put on them. You
No,
know
I
what I
know.
mean?
I know.
Like they only have value because we give them value.
Exactly. But that's my point is like it's stupid. But I mean,
I mean,
that is
it's
the
the
point.
same
But
for
anyway,
like money.
so so that whole stupid diamond situation, I was like, I would have rather it have been rolled up $100 bills or something. That would have been more important to me. Or like her
Well,
little gold
maybe
bricks.
because
Cool.
she Oh, I would love a gold brick. Those are
Yeah, gold
expensive.
brick. Yeah, great.
Just for
But
the
again,
novelty.
again, is that valuable? Who knows? What is
No,
valuable?
it's just another mineral. Get out of here.
Exactly. It's another damn rock uh, that we think is important.
Yeah, but the price of gold, I think, does fluctuate. So I think it might be better to invest in gold than to invest in diamonds.
I
I mean,
mean,
who knows? You're going to have these cat burglars all up on your business anyway, as the movies tell us.
true. And I always wanted to do that. Darn it.
Yeah. Or pirates trying to open your chests
Oh, jeez
to get
Louise.
your jewels.
Make jewels.
Yeah, in any case, Pike just wanted more money. She was just like, I know I like here's the bar I've set. You're not meeting the bar. I'm not going to compromise. That's
And
it.
she wanted $10 million, which,
Yeah.
So do I, but for very different reasons. And that's the thing that I thought was kind of fascinating too about the whole situation is, she has this price in her head that this is the amount of money I can finally use to dominate over other people and get more money. It's like, it's not like this amount of money will make me happy because I can rest my bones in Italy or something. You know what I mean? It's not
Yeah.
that.
She has a
It's like,
different goal. She
she
wants
does.
to
I
she
guess
wants
that's
to
the thing.
advance further, but she had to get over that little hurdle.
And that's the other thing that was so interesting about her was that she was perfectly fine with being murdered. She's like, okay, like, what does it matter? It doesn't matter. So it's kind of interesting that her game is to gain more money. That's literally all that's it. That's all she's living for. She doesn't really have much else.
She has
I mean, she
Fran.
has the love of her lady, but in the long run, it's not like she even came up in that conversation. Do you know what I mean?
Well, why would all right, so
Well, she doesn't
I
want to
was
compromise her either, I guess. But
Yeah,
I don't know.
I also thought that they were going to show what's her name? Isa Gonzalez, Fran.
Mhm.
I thought that they were going to like go after Fran and then we were going to see something entirely different. I also thought early on that Fran was going to be our hero in the end, like our conscience, our soul. Like I thought she was going to be there for the audience and be like, you know what, Marla, let's not be bad people. Or that she like there was going to be a conflict in their relationship that they were going to break up because things were getting too difficult. But that never happened. They were both in it together. even when Fran had her doubts, like they just had, I don't know, a healthy relationship.
They
They
really
talked
did,
about
didn't
things
they?
openly. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like,
they did.
and when, because
And she
like we
kind of gave
know,
her that choice, like, hey, do you want to run and constantly look over your shoulder, or should we finish this? Like,
yeah,
get this motherfucker and finish it. And
but they decided
they
together.
decided together to do to nab Peter and do the thing. And that whole thing was smart too, because when they were leaving him naked and drugged, I was like, they didn't kill him? And then it dawned on me, like, as soon as they showed him in the hospital bed, I was like, oh shit. She done
Yeah.
got hers, girl. She got this
Hmm.
fixed. And I thought that was really cool.
Well, yeah, because she be playing that system for so long. First of all, she knows all the itty bitty rules, but she also knows all the people to
True.
pick out whoever she
True.
wants. And she's like, give me
And
that John Doe.
and if you think about it, in the long run, because I kind of worried about her reputation in front of that judge, but that never tarnished either. Like in his
Right.
eyes, she has still done nothing wrong. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like at the end of the movie, he's still on her side because he still is part of the. I mean, not he's probably the one person that's not getting paid for all this, but
Yeah,
like
I think he genuinely
he
like
genuinely thinks that
wants
she's
to believe
helping
that
people.
they
Yeah,
are, yeah, that they're doing good things.
yeah.
And Pike and so like when we're in the nursing home where Diane Weist is, and the like and Marla's like trying to be like, tell me about your shit, bitch. Like, tell me what you got going on. Who is this lawyer? Who is that? By the way, I found the diamonds. And she's just like talking so openly, doesn't care because she knows she could be like, I don't know, this woman has dementia. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Pike just goes hard in every conversation, every moment. She's not like she's scheming. Like, don't get me wrong, but she's just so confident in like her place in the whole scheme of things, you
Do you
know?
know
And
do you know what's interesting about her character and the portrayal was that you kind of would never I was never completely on her side
right.
ever throughout the whole thing.
Hmm.
And one of the biggest things for me was that she was vaping the whole time. And I was like, bitch, I am not on your side ever in this situation because you have this gigantic phallic vape thing that you're clicking all day and
Hmm.
poofing those big old wads of smoke at people. And it's just not attractive. And it kind of just made me not like her tremendously because of that. And I feel like maybe that was probably a good choice for that character. Do you know what I mean? Like, because that is the kind of person that if you encounter that, you're like, ah, geez, do I really want to talk to this person? Do I want to be around this person that's doing that?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
just gross. It's so much worse to me than smoking. Like if she had been a smoker, I don't think it would have phased me. It's like you're vaping with the most obnoxious vape thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, it was pretty big. They make like small ones.
Yeah, they make little
But
ones. I know people that do that have small little cutesy ones. But I mean, not that I don't think anybody should be doing it, but you know, you gotta live with these things, I suppose, your vices. But I don't know. It
yeah,
just it
she's
was so unappealing to me. Anyway,
I
I'm sorry.
agree. No, you're fine. I was just gonna say I loved like, man, I don't even know where I was, but in any case, in this same scene, Weist is like talking with her all drugged up, which by the way, I thought everyone gave a solid performance.
Oh yeah,
Every single person.
everybody was
But
great.
Weist, when she's acting all drugged up and she's just laughing at Pike and she's just like, he's gonna get you. Like he's
Oh
going to
yeah,
destroy you. I loved it. Loved it, loved it, loved it. Loved her. Loved it.
she was
But yeah, no,
brilliant.
I didn't care for Pike. I think like there was a point where I Because I thought I was going to be on Fran's side the whole time. I thought whatever was going to happen, we're going to be rooting for Fran in the end. Fran maybe takes over the business, puts Spike in the hole, but you know they end up getting married and living happily ever after. Um, but I think like there was the one point where I like was like, "Oh," to like Pike was when Fran almost dies, and then it shows us those scenes of them together with Marla and Fran, and Marla is like just like devastated and just like crying, and then like them showering together and like them at the hospital together, just like all those little things. I was like, oh, poor things. I hope they get the bad guy back. And I'm like, wait, these are bad people too. These are all bad people.
It was tricky. It was very
Yeah.
tricky. And then in the end, so we got to bring up the ending because she got Peter. She got legal, because he doesn't
Guardianship of-
exist. He doesn't exist, and neither does technically Diane Weiss. I mean, Diane Weiss does exist as a name, but it was a stolen name from somebody that died from polio. So she assumed that identity and took it, and it was very good. Like they did a very good job disguising her. So we still don't know at the end of this movie who these people were.
Yeah,
Which
and
is fine.
and I think that was another thing that told me that that she had to have like started whatever was going on, like whatever business it was, because
Well, yeah, I
she
guess
would have had
that's
to do
true.
that
Or her
before
husband did.
before
Not that we should assume that
Dinklage
the husband.
was ever at any point involved.
I mean, who knows? That's a good thing to think about, because I would prefer to think of Diane Weiss as this amazing, awesome woman that dominated the crime, whatever family.
I mean, well, that's what I thought
I hope
was,
she was.
because they never mentioned a partner for her.
Yeah,
of
that's true.
any
They
type.
never mentioned Peter's dad or anything. So
Well, and I think even when she was, whenever they were giving the description of her, I think they said she was unmarried as well. Not that like she couldn't have had like a partner or like marriage or anything like that, but she was a cherry because she was completely unattached to anyone and
yeah.
anything, which
Well,
obviously
but that was the fake
untrue.
persona.
Yeah. You're
So-
right. You're right.
Who knows what her life was actually like before she, quote unquote, retired or whatever, to collect glass things and sip tea, read a
And eat
newspaper.
eclairs with her son.
True, very cute. Some
She could have been part of like a gardening club or
eclairs and
something.
what were the other things? Macaroons. God, that sounds good.
Macaroons are good. I
But
think they were macarons, the sandwich ones. Macaroons are like the coconut thingies.
do you pronounce it differently? I had no idea. Is that true?
One has one O and the other has two O's. Yes,
Is that
sir.
true? I never
Yeah.
noticed that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I say
think
it
about
wrong
how
every time.
Yeah, how
Thanks.
embarrassing.
Wow. I'm going up to French people asking for a macaroon, and they're like, "You're a fucking idiot. We don't have coconut cookies here." Which is funny
Yeah,
because I do
they're
love macaroons. I fucking love macaroons. But so it's not a macaroon. It's a, what is it?
a macaron. It's one O. The little
Macaron.
sandwichy things.
Like macaroni,
I-
but macaron.
Yeah, it's a
Macaron.
macaroni.
But I swear they've pronounced that in shows about baking and shit. Yeah, no, they do. Because that one guy, what is his name? The cookie guy, not the cookie, the candy, the pastry, I don't know. He has a show, Zumbo. He's like the king of macaroons. They say macaroons.
Maybe he's the king of the coconut thing.
No, because he makes the round ones that are sandwiches.
Maybe they're coconut sandwiches and not. What's
You
the
are
other one? What's the other one?
stretching Things here.
Almond. Almond's the other one.
Huh. Now I've got to know. Well, that's for another day. Anyway, we'll figure out the macaroon situation another time. But anyway, so she got him good. She got him because he has no existence, so he was a John Doe. He was found drugged and naked, incapacitated, and basically because of those things, she knew that she could get him under legal guardianship. So she did. And so now she can do whatever she wants with him, or bitch, you can give me $10 million, which is what I asked for. And he's like, wait a minute, girl. Let me throw this one at you. Why don't we go into business together and we can make billions of dollars? So he has a scheme which is kind of funny because it's like, what was he doing before? Like they never mentioned that either. I mean, diamonds were there for some reason, and he clearly didn't give a shit about that at the end. But it was like, what did he do? Because all of a sudden he's throwing out this idea that he has to make this multi-billion-dollar situation where they can monopolize on elderly care. Like he's making it into a gigantic corporation thing with multiple, like, what did he say, 80 different things underneath it, like a umbrella corporation kind of thing, where you're controlling the drugs, the facilities, the everything, the whole enchilada. He mentioned some of it, which I guess is smart, and it's super fucking huge. And I guess they could facilitate it because they did. That's what happened. And she became this massive, billionaire that was doing this and caring for people. I'm quoting with my fingers here. Caring for people, and it was smart. I mean, it's a smart, and he did mention like it would technically be legal, like, which is true. Like they technically did build like an empire that sort of was legit.
They were taking advantage of the legal process.
Exactly. So they did all the things that they mentioned they would do in a nice little montage at the end here. And she's being interviewed on the television about how great she's doing and how big boss lady she is, which is great. And Peter seems to be a silent partner, which is nice, because you don't see him after that. But
he also never showed his face before that. Like even true. With taking his mother out of the nursing home, even when they tried to do like that great big escape, he didn't get out of the car to run after her when she was like in the parking lot.
Yeah.
So there's something that he doesn't want to be seen for some reason or another.
Well, he doesn't exist. So
right, yeah.
Which is fine. So anyway, so they do all that. Everything's great. Everything's wonderful. And that's another thing that I was going to talk about, like how Diane Weiss kind of lived in her house with her collectibles and stuff. Not that I wouldn't have collectibles, but I just didn't like hers. It was very judgy. But it was kind of like the same situation happened with her. It's like, why do these people with money have to show it off? She's zooming around in her little sports car and they're having a great time and their fancy clothes and her ugly hair product.
And their big diamond rings.
They're ridiculous
now
flashy
wife.
rings that don't mean a thing because they're just rocks on your finger.
They're symbols of love.
Symbols of shut up. You spent too much money. That's that. All of that stuff. That's what that is to me. Like, you spent too much money on something so stupid. You could have just gotten a Versa Note like I have. Like, you didn't have to get some fancy vehicle for no reason.
But isn't that the point, to just have whatever you want? No
I don't know. But I guess it's just a difference in taste. I feel like.
Yeah, I would say it's a big difference in taste.
It's a big difference in taste. I wouldn't be that person. I would have no interest in that. I mean, I would want a specific car, and I guess it would technically be flashy, but not in the way that was. Like, I want an old car.
Well, like,
I don't even know if I'd want it, though. I don't know.
I wouldn't consider myself particularly wealthy by any means whatsoever, but I have an old car, like a 66 Ford Mustang.
Oh, yeah, you do, don't you?
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I drive around that Kia.
Yeah.
Like, don't get me wrong. Like, it's just kind of like flaking up and like kind of like gross.
I just
But
want to. I'd
I
want a purple Plymouth Prowler. That's the car that I would be like, ooh, I'm going to spend money and buy this car, and people would be like, why? It's not even a great car. Like, because it's pretty, and I feel pretty in it. Who cares? Um,
yeah, who cares? They feel
who
pretty in
cares?
their
In
sports
their
car.
Yeah, they feel pretty in their sports car. I'll give them that. Okay, fine. I need to be less judgy, I guess, about people's
I
knickknacks. Uh,
was just gonna say you didn't like Diane's collectibles. You don't
I
like
really
Pike and
didn't.
Gonzalez's fancy car.
Nope, did not. No, nope, nope,
But you
nope. Even
still have a car choice and a collectibles.
I do. Yeah, I would buy more records, and I'd have a Plymouth Prowler. And if I could, I would get the little hitch thing that they sold for it. Did you know this? This is the greatest thing ever. It's like they made, because it doesn't have any trunk space basically. So they
Hmm.
made like, it's almost like a tiny U-Haul that has the look of the Plymouth Prowler. It like has the back end of it looking sort of thing. And it's like a hitch that you can put on your car for extra trunk space. And I think that's
Oh,
the best thing ever. I
is it
want that so
like
bad.
almost like one of those teardrop trailers that's like it's like round, not like a teardrop, but like it just you just attach it to the back of your car.
Yeah. It's
But it's
literally,
designed
it
for the
is
Prowler.
literally an extra trunk for your Prowler that you just haul around. And I think that's hysterical. Like I would totally want that as a like bonus. Like, did you guys get the hitch? Because I need the hitch. I wonder how many of those they made. Where are they? Who has them? It's just such a
I'm looking
weird
at
thing.
pictures now. It's kind of fantastic.
Oh, are you looking it up? Oh, it's
Oh, yeah,
fantastic.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and it looks like a small version of like a teardrop trailer. I don't know what the smaller ones are called, but there's a name for them.
It's hysterical. Anyway, another point.
Anyway,
So,
yeah.
um, so then we get to the end of the film. We're here. We're at the end. And they tied it up beautifully, in my opinion. Obviously, you have an issue with it, but
I'll tell you why when you're done.
I thought it was brilliant because the whole time, even though you did find some, like, because Jason even mentioned it while we're watching, he's like, you're kind of rooting for the villain here. Like, right in the middle of the movie, he's like, you're kind of rooting for her, but she's bad. And I was like, yeah. So at the end, the guy that we talked about at the beginning, who's the first person you see in this movie, um,
Mm-hmm.
the guy who's angry that his mom was taken into custody and he couldn't see her, he comes up at the end, right after her fancy interview on the television, and shoots her. Like, my mom died and I couldn't see her. Fuck you, you bitch. And shoots her. She dies. She's dead. Dying in the arms of the lady she loves. And,
Oh,
and I was kind of
the only
like,
thing I rooted for was that relationship.
yeah, true. Honestly, yeah, that was a good thing. Um, but that was kind of, I was like, you know what? Yeah, bitch. Like, you were a bad person. You made a multi-billion-dollar company off of actually treating people like shit and taking their money. So, am I really that upset that somebody shot you? No, not really. I, the only thing that got to me was what happens. Like, is she replaceable? Because I feel like she probably could be.
Well, do you think Fran would continue on the business?
Probably, I
Because they
guess.
worked together, you
Yeah,
know?
but was she also a lawyer with her capacity? You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I feel like they probably trained other people to do it because you can't just be one person traveling around the whole entire country, popping people in these places. So I guess technically this business could run without her, and I guess Peter
Yeah.
would have majority of that
Yeah,
company.
he still
But
owns it, or he
I,
still has
I
like
I
a
would hope that
stake.
she left her shares to Fran, I guess, so that she could have.
You know what? That relationship is so good. She 100% thought about Fran
She totally did.
early on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. She thought about her. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So I guess in the end, Fran was the reigning queen of this movie. Uh, so yeah, but that's I liked it. I thought, good for you. Good for you. Because
Right on.
even in the part like Jason mentioned when she was, because we forgot to mention that Peter Dinklage almost did murder her. She was put in a car and went over a cliff into a river, and she was not supposed to wake up and save herself, but she did. Um, so she almost died. And Jason was like, wouldn't it be just like crazy if she just died right now, like right now? Like, and that was it. And then other things happened. And I was like, well, that would be kind of interesting. And honestly, it didn't
I
bother
thought that
me.
was a possibility. I
Yeah.
thought that was a possibility that she would die and then it would just like click over to like another set in the process. Because I was like, it's still going to be hard for Dinklage to get his mom back.
Oh yeah.
Because it could
Absolutely.
just
That
like
could
swap
still
over
have been a movie.
Guardians.
That
Yeah.
could absolutely have been the second half of that movie. But it's not what happened. But anyway. So yeah, she was
So-
almost murdered by him. Where was I going with that? Oh, but it's like kind of like I was okay with it. I was like, well, she's a shitty person, so it's fine.
Yeah, I mean, they all are.
So when she
So,
got it in
and-
the end, I was like, I kind of like that. I was okay with it.
So, what I really enjoyed about the movie, because I like when characters are bad people and they're just bad people. You know, like I don't need a backstory. I don't need some origin, like getting me to sympathize with them or anything like that. Like I just as easily sympathized with Dinklage, with Pike, with Weiss and Gonzalez, like all on their own. Like at some point during the film, I was able to sympathize with all of them for the situations they were going through, even though I didn't like any of them. You know what I mean? Like I don't need a background, you know, like, and I enjoyed that even though, like I said before, Pike almost died, Fran almost died, you know, they're like hitting these moments that in other films, like these people would either get their life together and turn around or run away or like something else would change. But these were all people who were bad and they were just bad people. And that's okay. Like, as far as like film goes, like that's okay.
Yeah.
They can be bad, you know, and like, and they just kept pressing forward with these bad behaviors, nothing learned, which is great, which I thought was great. And I thought that worked for me, especially as a commentary on the system, how the system doesn't have like what's his name, Dan Price, who the guy who like gave up his $1 million salary so that everyone in his company, like the minimum wage in his company is $70,000, you know, like as like the starting wage for people who
Where
work
is
for
this
him.
now?
What do they call themselves? They're hiring. He posted something on Twitter saying they're hiring, and then he said if you don't find a role that's for you, that like, you know, send your resume to like the general application thing, you know.
Are you
like,
serious?
Yeah.
Please give me more details after the episode. Thank you.
Yeah, I will. But yeah, but something that he said that I loved is that like he's like, I did that so that everyone like can make money that works for me. I did that several years ago. Who has done that since? You can't trust corporations to make the right decision.
Absolutely not.
Right.
I think that's a huge issue with, I mean, obviously that's a huge issue with our country right now specifically. Like,
right.
This is
and
a big topic for us at the moment because we're trying to get minimum wage to 15, and people keep saying, "Oh, it's outrageous. How dare you? How dare we not?" Do you know what I mean? Like, what is the problem with that? And it's like you look down on people for their jobs, and it's like, but you're going to that business and you're making those rich people richer by purchasing their items, but you don't care about the people that are working there? That's completely insane to me. It's insane. It's like, I do think the people that work at McDonald's and wherever should be making money. Why not? Same with me. I definitely should be making more money, but like, I'm not, because I don't know, because I work for a shitty place. And if they hear this, they might fire me. But you know what?
They're not. First of all, those people aren't going to fire
None
you.
of these people are going to listen to this. They don't like me that much. Uh,
uh,
they
but
don't
yeah,
know
but yeah.
anything about
So
me.
Price is over here, you can't trust corporations to make good decisions for people. And then what's her name? Ava. Oh
Perone?
no,
Evita?
no, stop. Duvernay. Is that how you say her last name?
I have no idea.
She produced like When They See Us. She directed the documentary 13th, about the 13th Amendment. It was
Oh,
like
okay.
out in 2016. Um, which that documentary was excellent. And something I really dug is that she like interviewed. I'm saying a lot to get to like a small point. She interviewed like people like Democrats, Republicans, like whoever, and she didn't put their she didn't have like the lower third that had like their profession or like where they aligned politically. She just let them all like talk and like speak their views and didn't give you like whatever to like judge them
Oh, to
beforehand.
judge them for who? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and then the film just ended. The documentary just ends without like, oh, this is what we're doing to change things or this and that, because she said in an interview that she didn't want to give the viewers a way out. Like you're watching like all this terrible stuff and then you're like, oh, okay, so these are the people who are handling it. I don't have to worry about it.
You
You
do
know what
have
I
to worry
mean?
about it. Yeah. That's
But you
brilliant.
do have to worry about it. She didn't give them a way out. And I was like, that's absolutely brilliant. Beautiful. Loved it. And so with this movie, we didn't get a way out. We just saw a system that is completely flawed and corrupt. And there's no heroes because there aren't heroes. I mean, I'm sure there's like heroes like within the system. There's people who are doing work. Don't get me wrong. But there aren't heroes. So we didn't get a way out for this film. And I would have liked it better if Pike didn't die, because I thought that that was like a way to appease like some of the audience. If
Oh,
like if
like
the
me.
message, yes, like you,
I
if the
mean,
message was like,
it's
we
not like
have
it
like, and
made
don't
me
get me
less
wrong, the
it didn't make me less worried about that situation, because I legit, and I think of this in so many different ways, not just you're too old and you can't do things on your own anymore, so this happens to you. But I think of like, this kind of shit can happen to you no matter what. It's a very scary situation that are like, the whole country is in, kind of thing. Like, everybody has these triggers. It's like, what can you do to somebody else to get what you want out of life? And that's one of them. Or somebody could just accuse you of something like murder, and if you have no reasonable explanation for why you didn't do it, you could seriously be convicted of murder. Just, and
Mhm.
you have nothing to do with it. You don't even
Isn't
know
that
these
what When They
people.
See Us is about?
What?
Isn't that When They See Us is about? And a is it Duvernay? Duvernay? I think she also produced the one with the kids, the Central Park 5.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Same
Yeah.
same thing. That's what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. And it's crazy. That's like why we were talking about our neighbors, and how she has two young kids, a girl and a boy. And one day she was not home and they couldn't get into their house, and the girl had to pee. And Jason was stuck with that dilemma, like, do I let this girl in our house to pee? And eventually he was thought correctly and was like, no, you cannot come in here, because you have no idea what this woman might do. Like, she could accuse you of doing who knows what with this girl in your house, because the girl was in your house. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, no, you can't come in here. So she peed on the porch, but not even logically. But like, if I were her, I would have just gone behind a bush or in the grass or something. But she just peed right on her shoes.
Yeah, well, you know,
Children.
they
Anyway,
got tiny mushy brains. But yeah,
but
so I think that I don't know, like I didn't want the relief. I didn't want to see homegirl get shot and then have like the tiniest thought that this was over and be like, oh,
no, no,
good
no,
thing that's
no, no, no.
over. You know what I
I think
mean?
the only
Like,
reason that I didn't go there with this one is because this is now a multi-billion-dollar corporation with
mm-hmm.
multiple handbags or whatever. Like it's got all this stuff.
There's a
Like
lot of
this
people
is the thing.
involved.
I felt like it was okay to kill her in this situation. I mean, not that murder's ever a good idea, but it's just kind of like giving the audience some sort of justice in a situation that is very uncontrollable, because that system is still going to happen with or without her. Like I was saying, like I kept thinking in the back of my head, like, well, I guess this is just going to continue because it's a multi-billion dollar company. You can't rest all of your eggs in one person kind of thing or whatever in that
Yeah.
handbag. Just it can't just be one handbag. Just one
Yeah.
Birkin.
I mean, yeah, but I don't know. I just think I didn't want any sense of peace when I left that movie. And I know that I like to torture myself when it comes to cinema.
I mean,
But
I also prefer ambiguous endings. I don't think filmmakers should always please the audience. I mean, you know this. I
mhm.
love Stanley Kubrick. Hello. Of course I don't need a good ending. That doesn't sound right.
I mean, that's the same conversation like we had about Little Women, the Greta Gerwig's Little Women.
Which was
How she
fantastic.
did it again, but then the ending was like, oh man, fuck me. Because she gave an ending that was kind of ambiguous. Is like, is it to appease the audience or is this what Homegirl wrote?
Yeah.
Yeah, and who am I for wanting that?
Yeah. Trying to think of I thought of something else while we're talking about all that. I can't think of I don't know. I was going to bring
Of
up something.
unhappy endings?
No, just like films that we watched recently kind of thing, and one of them came up in my head. Now I can't remember what it was. But anyway, I don't know. But films, television, cinema, things, hoopla, I don't know, crazy things.
Mm-hmm.
Just
Yeah.
whatever.
So, what would you rate this movie?
Oh yeah, I guess we can do that. Uh
Yeah. Yeah, we didn't know if this was going to be a full conversation
I
or
guess
not.
it was, yeah. Um
Yeah.
I guess this is not a cute little mini-sode, a bonus. This is an actual episode. Um I would say this um my instinct is to say six toes.
That's mine too. Like there are parts that I really really enjoyed and then I found really refreshing.
Oh, I wanted to bring up the guy, the lawyer with all his crazy suits. So I loved him.
Forgot about him.
And I have to say, like, I've seen him. I want to say he was maybe the lead guy in the Mindy Project. I can't remember. I know he's from something.
He
Was that
was
it?
the lead doctor in the Mindy Project, but
Okay.
he also was in something we watched this past year, and what made it on both of our top 10 lists.
Oh, he was? What was it?
It was Birds of Prey.
Birds of Prey. Birds of. Who
He
was
was
he in Birds
the
of Prey?
henchman. He was Ewan
Gregor's
McGregor's
hench.
like,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
and
Okay.
everyone was like, is he gay or
He
just
could be with me.
twisted?
That's
I
fine.
think he was just
Uh,
twisted.
and I was just going to mention that in this particular piece of cinema, he was
Mhm.
photographed beautifully. And I thought, this man really is a very attractive person. Like, there was a lot of close ups of his face. And I was like, yeah, I could see, yeah, I dig it. I dig this man's face. It's a good one. Not conventional, very good. Uh, anyway, I was just pleased. His face and his bod. He had a nice
Of
bod in those suits.
of course. Of course, of
You
course, of
know,
course.
again, a movie with no penises, but whatever.
I mean, I'm sorry. Does our next movie have penises in it?
No, it
You can
doesn't.
you can make changes.
It has some dicks, but no penises. Uh, we actually know our next film.
We do.
Because it was supposed to be our next episode, but this obviously is bumping that to the next one. But
I mean, it
our
doesn't
next
have to,
film
and it does not
is
have to be obvious.
what?
Nothing. I was just being a dick. All right, go ahead. What's our next film?
Oh, it's Charade, starring Audrey Hepburn and Cary Grant, directed by Stanley Donen, screenplay by Peter Stone. It's
What
a
year?
fantastic film, a 1963, I want to say. No, yes,
No, that's correct.
is that
That's
correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
I have things to say about that. I can't believe I knew that. I mean, I kind of can, but whatever. The year of that film actually is important to know because of some things I will talk about in that episode. So yeah, fantastic film. So if you guys haven't seen it, go and watch it. Criterion has it on Blu-ray, of course, which is how I watched it yesterday.
Oh, okay, right on.
Also, one of the
Right on.
best commentaries that I've ever watched on a film. I think my other one that I really love probably as much as the one from 9 to 5 with the girls. That would probably be one of my top ones too. For
Right
commentaries.
on.
Yeah.
Right on. So wait. What would you recommend for this film if people enjoyed I Care a Lot? They want something else? They want something of this
If you
style?
want some more
Do you have anything
Diane
you would recommend?
Wiest, I would go for that movie I mentioned earlier.
This
Can't
guy.
remember the name of it. Let Them All Talk.
Right on.
Another recent Diane
on.
Wiest that I thought lovely lady. Please be in all the movies. Fantastic. Yeah, I would recommend that. Not the
Okay.
same content, but very good nonetheless.
No, if you want something of like, I don't know, maybe the same content, maybe the same tone. I would say maybe Promising Young Woman. I did enjoy I Care a Lot more than I enjoyed Promising Young Woman, but a lot of people really dug that film. It's about a woman kind of exploiting men for trying to take her home when she's perceived to be trying to take advantage of her when she's inebriated. And her striking back.
Good for you, girl. Good for you. Do it.
Good
You
for
know
you,
what else
Tracy.
I-
You got on the show.
You know what else I kind of want to throw in as a recommendation? Just because. Ocean's 8. Was it 8?
Yes, with
Sandra Bullock and
yeah.
everybody else that I fucking love, and I can't get enough of that movie.
Mhm.
I have seriously watched that more times than I probably should admit because I fucking love it. And it has a Met Gala in it. Hello! Like, yes, please. All the things. Give me the gowns. Give me the jewels. Even though they're not worth anything. In fact, I probably cared more about their gowns than the heist of those jewels. Good stuff.
Yeah, I think that's like a totally fine recommendation.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah.
No
Yeah.
Diane Wiest, but they could do better the next time.
Yeah, you've got what's her nuts? Like other than Sandra Bullock.
Oh, there's another one that was good. Oh, okay. And Anne Hathaway, because Anne Hathaway's also in
Anne Hathaway, Kate Blanchett.
Kate Blanchett, Rihanna. She
Rihanna.
makes a little appearance. Mindy,
Oh,
whatever
yeah,
her
Mindy
name is from the
Kaling.
Mindy Project.
Mindy Kaling.
What a good fucking cast of people. It was such a good
Helena
movie.
Bonham Carter.
Yes. Oh, I forgot about her as the designer. She was so good. Is that everyone?
Was that 8 people? I think
Those
we're
the
missing
main
somebody.
people, right?
We have to be
Are we missing
someone.
somebody? I mean, of course, Anna Wintour's
Uh,
in there and all
Sarah
kinds of fun
Paulson in
things.
it?
Mm,
No.
I feel like you're just throwing her in there because you want her in there.
No. First of all, she's on the poster. Sarah Paulson is absolutely in it.
Is she really?
Oh, wait.
Yes.
Yes,
She
she
was the girl
is.
that worked
First of
as
all, Sarah
the
Paulson is in everything.
Coordinator.
Anything that
Yeah.
you're like, who else was in there? Sarah Paulson's in it. That's the who else.
I mean, she's
Every
in
time.
everything. So,
Yeah.
and she's very good at it. I can't believe I completely blanked on her. She's
And
totally
Awkwafina.
like a big part
Who
of
else
the
we were missing?
Ugh, good times. Oh, I love it. Was that 8 people? Did we mention 8 ladies?
I think we mentioned more than 8, but yeah, Awkwafina, Sarah Paulson, Sandra Bullock. Anne Hathaway wasn't in the thing, right? Anne Hathaway was the person they were taking from Rihanna.
Well, I don't want to give anything away for the kids.
I mean, it's very clear in the beginning. Kate Blanchett. Yeah, I think we named plenty. I think we named
I just want to mention all the ladies.
the ladies.
I was kind of disappointed because I don't think that was directed by a woman, but it should have been. Was it? I don't think so.
No, it was directed by Gary Ross.
Yeah, that's not a woman's name. I mean, unless it could be.
I mean, it could be, but no, I'm pretty sure. Gary,
Cool.
but Gary Ross
Anne Hathaway
wrote Pleasantville.
Anne Hathaway, she was also in another movie that I recently watched that I also enjoyed. It took me forever to get into it. Like, even when I started the first time I turned off, I was like, I don't give a shit about this. They were zooming at the beginning. I was like, I don't feel like it. But it was all filmed in quarantine and all that kind of stuff. But it was, what was that called? They heist jewels again, and it was fantastic.
Locked Down?
Lockdown. Yeah, Locked Down. Yes. I feel like that's
Yeah, is that it?
Yeah. Right? Is that one of her movies? Are you looking it up?
That is one of her. Yeah, I am. I am.
Yeah, she
Who's
was
that actress?
she was wonderful in that. That was a fun time. Good job done by all. In a
Wonderful.
quarantined film. Very well done. After I finally got past the Zoom part.
Which is funny because I also had you watch a film that was entirely on Zoom.
Yeah, true. But I knew that going in. With this one, I was like, oh God, what? Like, and I thought that there was going to be more cat and mouse stealing. I mean, there was eventually, but it was whatever. It was very good. It was very well done. Good job. And Anne Hathaway was in it. And there was more jewel thieving. I love that. Please.
I mean,
give
there's
me...
also the Hustle, right? Was that wasn't jewel thieving, was it?
It wasn't jewel thieving, but it was close. And then she
Deception.
was also Catwoman. So she stole things there too.
Oh.
God, Anne Hathaway, she's a swiper. Oh, that's another thing I watched. I watched the Dora the Explorer movie. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was fantastic. It was very good. So, haha, I'm 41. Don't have kids, but I watched it.
You're allowed.
It was good. It was funny.
I permit it.
I recommend it. If you're not doing anything one day and you want to watch something fun, put it on. Good stuff. Good times.
Right on.
It was funny too. I thought it was funny. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's wrap this up.
Yeah. Until next time, footsies. Go get a foot massage.
Yeah, you can get a foot massage. Or
You
you
can
could also follow us on social media at One Foot Podcast on nearly everything: Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. I think we use Instagram more than anything.
yeah.
And you could email us with questions, concerns, recommendations, anything you'd like just to say hello at onefootpodcast@gmail.com.
Yeah.
And that's
Do
it.
it. Do it.
Subscribe, rate, review, and see you next time when we discuss Charade 1963.
I just realized I started posting our episodes on Tuesday. See you next Tuesday.
Bye
I love it.
bye. Oh, Chadwick Boseman.